Welcome to Salad with a Side of Fries. I'm your host, Jen Trepic, talking wellness and weight loss for real life. We're here to clear up the myths, misinformation, bad science, and marketing to teach you how to eat and how to cheat. Are you ready? I'm having salad with a side of fries. This week, we're talking about subtle saboteurs. So these may look different for everybody, and frankly, different for each of us day to day. But the best way to think about subtle saboteurs are the things that maybe in the moment don't seem like a big deal. And then later you go, oh, that was kind of annoying. Or why did I do that? Right? They're the little things that have the potential to derail us. So we're going to walk through a few of those subtle saboteurs. And I say this with love, but friends and family, you can be those things. Right? Oh, you've been so good. You can have it. Just a bite, right? The holidays are coming up and people will be like, oh, I made this. You have to try it. Right? Cindy, you're nodding.
I'm a saboteur. I know I am. And I'm sure my entire family would say, yes. Oh, please take it home. I have made plenty. That's me. I'm a saboteur. But yes, those things that you don't even realize. And maybe in an effort to get it out of my house, so it's not tempting me, I'm sending it home with you.
Right. I also think social media can be a subtle saboteur. We start scrolling, we see what other people are doing, right? And then we start to get down on ourselves. We might be feeling great, and then we see something. We might be feeling great, and then we get on the scale, and all of a sudden the scale is changing our mind about whatever we thought's been going on, right?
Right.
I bet you didn't think I was going to say the scale was a subtle saboteur.
Oh, it is, because I think sometimes you think you're working so hard and you're making all the right choices and you're doing good, but that scale doesn't always move as quickly as we think it should, that those small changes are small. They're supposed to be daily. How many times have you gotten on the scale and said, oh, well, I guess I am going to go and have that muffin.
Yes,
why not?
Exactly. It can be a saboteur in different directions, right? Depending on what the feedback is. So it's part of why whenever we get on the scale, we're also taking our tape measurements. We're also looking at body fat, and why I do that with my clients so that they're not doing it on their own, right? We're addressing those things together. Another interesting one is perfection and streaks. Now, there's a lot of apps out there and a lot of things that want to gamify everything. And I'm a sucker for a streak. I'm not going to lie, right? I have my Wordle streak still, right? So streaks can sometimes be motivating. But if we break the streak or if something doesn't happen, it often means because we aren't perfect or we broke the streak, it can sort of be a case of the F-its, right? And we just throw everything out the window. And so it has sort of this connotation of the end. And so knowing yourself, right? If looking for streaks is subtly setting yourself up, maybe we don't do that anymore, right?
Although I do like when my Fitbit reminds me, hey, you've gone 250 steps for the last 15 hours. Or if it reminds me, I'm like, yes, I'm getting that 250.
Yeah. And so there are pieces of it that can be really helpful. And that's where for each of us, it's different, or for each of us at any given moment, it's different, right? We can hear the same thing and interpret it different ways. I also think certain foods that feel like those gateway foods, right? Subtle saboteurs. I'm a big fan of not having fear foods or not having things that we don't allow in our house. But I also do believe that there is something to be said for making things easier on ourselves. And if it's easier to just not start, don't start. Because it's subtly sabotaging ourselves when we do the thing without planning or preparing for everything else around it.
True. If you know you bring those cookies in for your family, but you know that, just one takes you to two. And before you know it, you've eaten all of the cookies and nobody else in your family has even touched them. Don't bring them in. Yeah. Just don't.
Yep. And then the last subtle saboteur that I want to bring up for today is ourselves. So one of the things that I experienced myself in my old days of, dieting and trying to figure this out We know what life is like when the food stuff, the exercise stuff, the weight stuff, when this is all a thing. We have no idea what life is like when it isn't. And so because of that, we sometimes hold on to the old habits, the old routines, because the known is more comfortable than the unknown. So think about if you are your own subtle saboteur in your mindset or in these little things that we're doing, are we sort of not moving forward because that's the unknown, right? Now, all of this is really just food for thought, although no pun intended. It just came to me, so I had to say it, right? So think about the subtle saboteurs in your life, the people, the situations, the foods, and consider how you want to handle it. Make a plan. Maybe practice saying what you'd say to that person in response, right? So if it's easier to say you're allergic, say it. Or even, I think I might be allergic. I'm not going to test it here, right? I don't want to ruin the holiday. Or my doctor advised me against it. No one's going to argue with that, right? Also, a hard one for us to say, but could be a good one of, it's just my preference. Thanks anyway.
I love that. It's my preference.
Right? Practice saying the words so that they're easier to come out, which is not happening for me in this moment, right? Practice the words so that they get out of your mouth. Visualize yourself doing the behavior, walking away from the table of appetizers at the holiday, heading home after the holiday meal, feeling really great about yourself. You know, we did a nutrition nugget about visualization with some tips for how to make it the most effective. So you can go back to that. And by the way, this whole thing of the visualization or, thinking through those subtle saboteurs, it might be a daily or weekly practice. Think through the week. Look for the subtle saboteurs. Prepare yourself mentally, physically, whatever you need. And remember that this is not about perfection, right? How we handle any situation, we're just looking to handle it a little better than the last time. And then afterwards, we could consider, right, what worked well this time? Cool, check, repeat that. What do I want to do differently next time? How can I go one step further the next time? And then how can I remind myself to do that the next time the situation arises, right?
And be proud of yourself when you do those things. Sometimes
Absolutely.
A little personal high five. You did it.
Yes.
I'm proud of how you handled that. That goes a long way too.
Exactly. So there you have it. The subtle saboteurs are now on your radar. Remember that you got this. We got you. You can do it. It's all going to be fine. We're focusing on consistency and we're going to keep moving forward. Cindy, anything else to add on those subtle saboteurs?
I'm going to be more mindful.
I love
and
that.
Not be somebody's saboteur.
There you go.
There will be no take home this holiday season. We're going to enjoy what's at the table and move on.
There you go. Awesome. As always, everybody, I'm your host, Jen Trepeck. Connect with me on Instagram or really all social media. I'm at Jen Trepeck, JENNTREPECK. Website is A Salad with a Side of Fries. Website or social media, whatever platform's easier for you, please send me a message. I want to hear your takeaways, your ideas, what questions you have. This is also the easiest way to learn more about working with me as your health coach. And of course, if you are not already a member, join our membership program by going to glow.fm/salad with a side of fries. It shows your support for this podcast and this community, but most importantly, it truly supports your health. You'll get this week's recipe for the skillet chicken fajitas and the last chance for this quarter's live session, which is just you and me for 30 minutes. Cindy, thank you again for being here.
Thank you for having me and letting me be part of this. I love it.
Absolutely. Well, we love having you. So you'll come back. Well, friends, that's it for today's episode of Salad with a Side of Fries. Congratulations for making yourself and your health a priority. Thanks so much for joining us. Be sure to click subscribe or follow on your favorite podcast platform. Share us with a friend, and we'll be back next week. Always remember, you deserve it, and you are worth it. Happy healthy.